And whether that was intentional shade at Jalen Hurts or a personal choice, that's corny and is lame. What's up, Mafia? We're back into OTAs. The wide receiver room is starting to take shape. Saquon Barkley is doing something that should scare every linebacker in the NFL. Tariq Woolen is here making your number 1 wide receiver look average. And then there's number 11, showing us who he really is. There's a lot to get into today, so let's get it mixing. Let's start with some news that changed the tone for the entire week. Makai Lemon has a sleeve on his leg, and he was inactive at practice. ESPN confirmed it's a soft tissue hamstring injury. The team's message is calm. He'll be good for training camp, and there's no real structural concern. They're just being smart about it. But for right now, OTAs are done for him. And honestly, I'm not panicking. Soft tissue in May is not the same as a torn anything else. Teams shut guys down all the time for stuff like this, and they come back fine. But I'm not going to act like the timing doesn't sting either. Lemon is not just another name on the depth chart. He's someone the offense is trying to build around. And every single day he's not out there running routes with Jalen Hurts in a brand new system is a day that's wasted. Mandatory minicamp is next week. If he's not good by then, that's when I'll start asking more questions. What I will say is this, if there was anything serious, they would not be talking about camp timelines. So I'm choosing to trust the process here, but I will be watching. Now with Makai Lemon out, guess who managed to step up? Newly signed wide receiver Dantavian Wicks. Dantavian Wicks was back at practice running with the first team offense. Per Zach Berman, he was moving in and out of motion, exactly the kind of work Sean Mannion wants from his wide receivers. Now the positives, he made a catch in the end zone on a 2-point conversion. In the negative, there were drops. Early in team drills, he had one go through his hands and one bobbled shortly after that. And I want to be real about this, not because I'm down on Dantavian Wicks, but because this is a conversation that we do have to have. He's familiar with the scheme. He's been in a Sean Mannion style offense before. The football IQ is there, but if the hands don't show up clean when the pad comes on, that wide receiver 2 competitions opens up real fast. Green Bay gave him every opportunity, and the drops kept getting in the way. Philadelphia needs him to be better than that. Point blank period. I do believe Wicks will clean us up, but it's just a matter of time before somebody else outshines him and takes his role. Now on to Elijah Moore. He also ran with the ones while Devontae Smith was not on the field for a big chunk of the 7-on-7 sets. Now that's something that does seem a little odd at first, but it's not alarming at all. Just working all the right receivers in to get a little bit of work with Jalen Hurts. And then there's Hollywood Brown. 2 open OTA practices, 2 strong showings. Reporters have used the words fresh and snappy while describing the way that he works. He's fitting in the Sean Mannion system like he's been there before. What gets me about Hollywood Brown is the situation he's walking into versus the situation that he was in when he left. Last year in Kansas City, he was being asked to carry a wide receiver room that was falling apart around him. He had to be the number 1, but that's not who he is, and that's not what he's built for. Here in Philadelphia, he doesn't need to be the guy. He needs to be a problem on specific downs, a weapon when defenses are focused on stopping Smith and Saquon Barkley coming out of the backfield. If the quickness we're seeing at OTA holds up, Hollywood Brown could end up being one of the most quietly impactful additions on this entire roster. This wide receiver room has more going on than most people want to give credit for, and right now, everyone is competing and no spots are locked in. Now let's talk quarterbacks because Jalen Hurts had a hot and cold day. He threw an interception right into the hands of linebacker Jeremiah Trotter Jr. And Trotter continues to be one of the most unignorable players at open practice. But we'll talk more about him on another day. Hurts also threw a pass a bit too high in the back of the end zone on a 2-point attempt, and you can see that he was immediately frustrated. But here's what I actually noticed. He worked the middle of the field effectively on 7-on-7 drills. He connected with Saquon Barkley on a wheel route for a touchdown while under center on 3rd and 6. That setup has Sean Mannion written all over it. But honestly, the interceptions don't worry me. The high throws don't worry me. It just shows me that Jalen Hurts is finally being aggressive. He went over the middle of the field. He threw into tight windows that he wouldn't have attempted last year. There's a real change here. He's turning his back to the defense. He's working more under center. He's making reads that he's never had to do before in the Eagles uniform. The process will be messy before it gets clean. May mistakes or September reps, and I'll take the growing pains coming from all of that. I'm not concerned with the growth of Jalen Hurts. He's going to do fine. Give him time, give him reps, he'll learn the system, and he's going to excel. As for the backup quarterback situation, Andy Dalton has been QB2 in both open OTA practices. Zach Berman noted that the veteran presence is obvious. He throws with anticipation and puts the ball into tight windows. And the fact that Andy Dalton is still sitting at number 2 over Tanner McKee right now tells me that McKee is either on the trade block or headed towards being the 3rd string quarterback. The Eagles have 5th round rookie Cole Payton coming in as a developmental piece, and Dalton looks to be the insurance policy while that all sorts itself out. Now, let's talk about the big play of OTA practice number 3. Saquon Barkley beat out Zach Bond on a wheel route on 3rd and 6 for 40 yards, and he was wide open. Now that play, that's a preview of what's to come. Berman noted that Saquon getting involved in the passing game has been a consistent theme throughout this entire OTAs. And that's not a coincidence. That's exactly how Sean Mannion builds an offense. Look what Sean Mannion was able to do with the running backs in Green Bay. Todd Gurley ran in a similar system back in 2017 and 2018 and averaged 84 catches across 2 seasons in LA. It's all scheme designed. Mannion builds offenses that weaponize the backfield. Now plug in Saquon Barkley, a guy who saw 91 targets in a single season at his peak with the Giants and only got 50 last year in Philadelphia. Sean Mannion is about to close that gap, and we're about to see Saquon Barkley explode. And then the Eagles turned around inside veteran running back Elijah Mitchell. Mitchell spent 4 years in San Francisco in Kyle Shanahan's system, which overlaps heavily with what Mannion is installing here in Philadelphia. His rookie year, he put up 963 yards and 5 touchdowns in just 11 games before knee injuries started piling up and sidelined him. He has dealt with health issues ever since, including a 2024 season that was completely lost due to his hamstrings. But the Eagles clearly wanted a running back in this room who already understands what Mannion is asking for, someone who has already lived this type of scheme. Mitchell is now coming in and competing with Will Shipley for that 3rd running back spot, and that spot right now is wide open. Now on to defense, because there's one name that keeps coming up every single open practice, and you already know it's Tariq Woolen. Zach Berman called him the defensive standout of the entire practice. 6'4", long, physical, and he's actually going out there and he's making plays. He walled off Dantavian Wicks in press coverage going downfield, and then he used his body to force an incompletion against Wicks once again. And then they put him on Hollywood Brown, and he didn't bite on the double move that Hollywood Brown put on him. He stayed with him and followed him all the way down on a deep ball throw. He then shadowed Devontae Smith on a 4th and goal situation, reaching up and knocking a ball down so that Devontae Smith couldn't cradle it in. That's 4 coverage wins in 1 practice against your top wide receivers. They aren't in pads yet, I know. Training camp changes everything, but through 2 open OTA practices, Tariq Woolen has looked like the upgrade the secondary needed at cornerback too. Alright, now we gotta talk about AJ Brown. Even though people don't want to talk about AJ Brown, I don't want to talk about AJ Brown, but we gotta talk about AJ Brown. Because this AJ Brown situation keeps getting messier the more things that actually come out. And I want to be careful here. I need to be careful because a lot of this stuff is alleged, but the pieces that are out there and the people that have backed them up make it hard to ignore. Here's what's being reported. Allegedly, AJ Brown and Hassan Reddick were both involved with the same woman at the same time they were teammates. AJ found out, he went to Jalen Hurts, who apparently knew about it and was expecting his quarterback to say something to him. And Hurts basically said that it's not his business to get involved with. And that's it. That's the moment that broke the trust. Not a football play, not a contract, not a scheme disagreement, a personal situation where Jalen Hurts refused to be pulled into that. And AJ Brown never forgave him for it. Brandon Graham hinted at something like this not too long ago. Shady McCoy said that it's completely made up and not true. And CJ Gardner-Johnson posted enough on social media to at least confirm the locker room has some serious tension underneath the surface. So you can make of that what you will. And what makes this even more wild is the report from the Bleacher Report that said that AJ reportedly asked to be traded in week 4 of the 2025 season. The team was still undefeated. AJ Brown, bro, what are you doing? If that's the real reason why AJ Brown went out of Philadelphia, that is sad and it's pathetic. Jordan Mailata essentially confirmed what a lot of players were probably feeling, and when he spoke, it almost felt like there was some relief there, and that tells you everything that you need to know.
I think we yes, we can move on now. I think most of us that have been here the last 6 weeks, we have moved on we have enough to worry about, again, getting over last year and then coming in here and learning a new scheme and new concepts. Like, we had to press on, and so that's what we were doing. I think this is more of a, it sounds terrible, but thank God it's over.
This has been weighing down on people inside that room for a very long time. I'm glad it's done, and I know that they're glad it's done also. Now here's the part that really leaves a bad taste in my mouth and leaves me a bit disappointed. After the trade went through, AJ Brown posted what was being sold as a childhood photo of him in a Patriots jersey as a kid. The explanation was that New England was always his team and that it was always his dream to play for them. Except if you look at the photo, it's most certainly AI generated. So the image that was supposed to humanize him and push the childhood dream narrative was fake. The photo itself doesn't bother me, but the fact that he thought that he had to put that out there, to justify leaving Philadelphia for the New England Patriots, to me that's corny. That's mad corny. And then the press conference. AJ Brown sat in front of the Patriots media and talked up the Patriots like it was the best thing that ever happened to him.
Talking to my mom, and I was like, man, I'm still in awe. You know, I'm trying to adjust and, you know, walking up the hill with the uniform on. I was like, man, this is real, you know. And caught myself one point in practice, wasn't paying attention because I was like, dang, I'm a Patriot, you know.
This man went to 2 Super Bowls in Philadelphia. He won one, and he put up some insane records in a 4-year span. Now he's sitting in New England talking like he escaped from a bad situation, like he was in jail or something. And to make it worse, he chose to wear the number 1 with the New England Patriots. 11 was available. He went with 1, and whether that was intentional shade at Jalen Hurts or a personal choice, that's corny and it's lame. And now the Patriots media have already turned their backs on AJ when he just got there, saying the Eagles got the better of the deal because of the issue with AJ Brown's knees.
In the right place. I'm just telling you, I think it's an overpay. They're the only one willing to pay it. And there's way more risk with this player than you've been led to believe or we've all just forgotten about. He got a bad knee. And he just quit on one of the best teams in the league. Plenty of examples of guys becoming malcontents in a loser situation. It brings out the worst in them. They just want to win. They're not surrounded by winning players or winning organization. And so they grow frustrated and they act out. What's A.J. Brown's excuse? He was there 4 years. They made the playoffs 4 years. He made 2 Pro Bowls, 2 Super Bowls, 1 a championship. And he was miserable. Why? That would concern the hell out of me. If Mike Vrabel were not here, they would not come close to this player. This is the kind of thing they never did during the meat of the Brady Belichick years.
So now, all the non-effort plays that we saw in Philadelphia could be attributed to those knees. Now Patriots fans are going to just have to find out for themselves. And something tells me these joint practices in August are going to be must-see TV. So, where are we right now with this team? The noise is gone. AJ Brown is now New England Patriot. Whatever was sitting in that locker room for the last 2 years has been lifted. You can see it and you can feel it in the way these players are talking. Saquon Barkley is about to have a completely different role in this offense. Hollywood Brown is healthy and he's moving. Dantavian Wicks needs to clean up his hands, but the talent is there. Makai Lemon is out right now, but he will be back for training camp, and that's what matters. Minicamp is next week. Training camp is coming. I like this team. I like the direction, and I cannot wait to see what Sean Mannion has been building behind those closed doors. So tell me, what are your thoughts on OTAs so far? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. I want to hear from the Midnight Green Mafia. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that button for me right now. Ring that notification bell so you don't miss anything when minicamp starts. Drop a like if you're riding with the content. And once again, I've been Brother Shy, and this has been the Midnight Green Mafia.